by Mr. Stapleton, supported by Councilman Sahlers. Any discussion? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. Motion carried. Next tonight is a motion to approve amending the adopted 2013-2014 budgets for the general fund, special revenue funds, capital project funds, and enterprise funds per the attached summary.
Motion to approve. Support.
I have a motion by Councilman Sahlers, supported by Councilman Molnar. Any discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilman Sahlers.
Late last night I sent Mr. Eva an email asking about the subrecipients related to CDBG funding, and while I did get his response, and I do have one other question that I didn't get a chance to send out, and that is, do the recipients that are awaiting or that still have to get information to the City of Taylor, are they aware that they have to get that information over? And have we notified them?
Mr. Eva, could you please come up to the microphone?
Madam Chair, I can refer my conversation.
Mayor.
For my conversation with Mr. Carter, who's still been in contact since transitioning his job roles. He said yes, they are aware, and we're working to get that to us.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed say no. Motion passes. Next tonight is a motion to approve amending the 5-year deficit elimination plan.
So moved. Support.
I have a motion by Mr. Delo, supported by Councilman Stapleton. Any discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilman Sahlers.
Just if I could, to the chair, if the mayor would just give a kind of a quick summary of the, just for the viewing audience, so everybody understands what it is we're adopting here, or potentially adopting.
Mayor Langren.
I think we've kind of been in the third version of the deficit plan, right? So amendment number 2, which took place in December, we kind of had to go back and check those figures as they were presented. So we're kind of crossed amendment number 2, but version number 2 asked the state to reflect our current amendment with the original version of the debt plan as was presented, is to look at any of the differences. So again, with the reporting out, we talked about that. The reporting out of the SAFER grant originally, when it was recognized for full funding at that juncture, but only the actual expenses related to SAFER, which, because it's a reimbursement grant, you can't reflect the actual or the full funding until you incur the cost. So, as was explained to council, we won't be incurring the full cost throughout the 2-year period because the employee cost is not there due to the change in the collective bargaining agreement and the reduction in some of the pays and benefits that were applied to the employees at that point in time. So we can't recognize also the past 2-year period of performance until FEMA were to authorize the use of those funds for an additional amount of time, which would have to be done. Which has to be done at the point in time that we hit the period of performance and still have money remaining at that point. So, which we were under the impression from FEMA that they would want us to continue to use the money. May potentially be a full year of funding at the end of that third year. So, we would address it at that point in time.
Madam Chair.
Councilman Molnar.
If I may ask the chair to the mayor, when will they be sending, if this is approved tonight, when will we be sending this to the state?
Maybe first thing in the morning.
Is it possible that we get a copy of what was sent to the state?
Absolutely.
And would that be emailed to us? Yes. Thank you.
That'd be great.
I think the responses to all previous questions have already gone to council, just with the note that the debt was coming, pending the last approval, and we communicated that it was postponed to this, so we'll get it out. First thing to them, and then this is the version that will go with getting.
Madam Chair, I have received the emails, and I'm up to date on what we're planning to do, but if, I still would like that we just be sent an email of what is sent to the state, if at all possible.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Councilman Salas.
Through the chair, Mayor, we don't anticipate that the language will change at all in the letters that we were given in the previous email.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair?
Mr. Kilo?
Yes, Mr. Eva was kind enough to provide me an answer relevant to the new program, or the reinstating the program whereby we will be inspecting apartments. In your letter, in his letter, he indicated that the revenue received for inspections are restricted to cover direct costs to provide the service plus overhead paid by the city. Will that money then reduce the amount of money that is spent in the building department? And will that then be reflected in the Deficit Elimination Plan?
Madam Chair.
Mayor Larry.
In conversation with Mr. Eva, in his response to the councilman as well, the idea, well, first let me go backwards and clear up any confusion. It's not a re-implemented or changed. There's consistently been rental inspections going on. There are inspections that need to take place. The rental inspection program has been ongoing since the year 2000. Before that, it didn't exist. As I sent the spreadsheet, I sent to council after the last request for a discussion about it with the income or revenue generated through rental inspections fluctuating from year to year. In talking to past directors of that department, the problem was that when they started in 2000, they kind of jumped on with the group, and then they kind of went down because they had gotten so many in that very first year of implementation. And then as that cycle went through, because they were flagging so many apartments at the very beginning, it went down to the 3-year cycle started, and then they jumped back up with that first group of people that they were hitting so many of. So as we said, we're trying to get now a more level distribution of those apartments and numbers so that income, revenue generated, as well as the workload is consistent from year to year versus fluctuating and spiking at different times. We have, and I think was consistent with previous budgets before this administration, put in a number that was a consistent anticipation of revenue, and then that was always adjusted at year end when actual revenue was recognized. The question I think that Mr. Eva is trying to answer for the councilman is, did I say councilman Eva? Mr. Eva is trying to answer for the councilman is that if revenues exceed expenditures, which is again hard because the city has never really had a true grasp on total expenditures related to it. It's balanced in the line of the budget that you've seen. The building department has overhead expense that goes back to the city. So that line comes back, it pays for vehicles, insurance, maintenance, fuel, and employee expense not covered under the normal things that are there. Laptops, IT, all of those things are kind of distributed amongst those. So we will continue to work to try to get a better number and better reflection of what the true costs are. I think we've had the conversation in a couple study sessions as well that we need to work with the pension board to try to get a better grasp on how many employees are retired or had some time in the building department related to expenses that could or should be covered, the OPEB expenses that should be covered by building department related fees. I think the law, as the person Mr. Eva pointed out, is building inspections, the mechanical, HVAC, building and plumbing, you cannot charge more than what your actual costs are to do that. And revenues can't be used to pay down deficit. So you can't just take in a bunch of extra revenue and everything pay down if the deficit's not related to actual expense that was incurred doing those services. So that's kind of the question related to what rental falls into that. some of the question with the broad
That's
scope,
your
I
right.
think, but
If I
Ms.
may.
Mueller?
So you do not anticipate that our revenue this year may be more than last year for the inspection?
at this point, Madam Chair, I can't gauge, I don't recall what we recognized at year end last year for revenue.